I didn't leave South Africa because I hated it. I left South Africa because I outgrew who I was there. I outgrew life there. I outgrew the life that I had, the life that I was living. I was tired of surviving. So today I want to come on here and I want to talk about why I left, why I decided to leave, why I came to that decision. It wasn't easy, and I'm not here to complain. I'm not here to convince anyone. I'm just here to share my experience and to explain. I was so stuck in familiarity. Everything was so familiar, everything was routine. This was my hometown. I had grown up in South Africa, I had grown up at home, I was living with my parents. Living at home with my parents just was really, really hard. I love them. I love them to bits. And I have a daughter now, so things are different, but it was the same feeling of being stuck, feeling like everything is so familiar, the routines get so familiar. So I decided, you know what, I need to find something. Everything felt safe, I guess it was safe at home, but I was slowly like shrinking inside. I was shrinking inside, and I had to choose whether I want to stay safe and small or do I want to choose growth. And then also, I decided then that I'm going to choose growth. That was the moment for me where things were more painful. It was more painful to stay than it was to go. I battled so much with the decision because I have my little girl, and I kind of knew like if I had to get another job overseas, I would leave her behind for at least the first year, so that I get settled into the new country. So I knew that I was gonna leave her behind either way, and that for me was the biggest challenge was actually leaving my daughter behind. I think I grieved for so long. I grieved her, I grieved her absence even while I was there with her. I grieved her absence. I cried every night just thinking about the option of moving abroad and not having her by my side. That was so painful for me. But eventually, I made the choice to, when things just got so stuck to the point where I had hit a ceiling and I wasn't getting anywhere. I remember I was working at a nonprofit organization and I was earning something like 3,500 rand a month. If you're a South African, you know how little that is. So I was earning 3,500 rand a month, and I was teaching art and craft. I was teaching beading, and I worked there for about 2 years, right? And I just felt every day when I would go there, I'm like, no, I can do more. I have so much more potential. I can do more. I don't have to settle for this. And I felt like I was settling, in the name of having a child, in the name of, oh, if I leave, what's going to happen to my little girl? But it just became painful. It just became very painful just waking up every day, doing the routines, and just knowing at the back of my head that the universe is basically trying to force me. I can say force me to look elsewhere, to spread my wings, to go abroad. And I started the applications. And it was not even 3 months I got a response. So I applied to different countries. I applied to China. I applied to Thailand. I applied. I mean, I applied all over Asia, South Korea, and I just told myself, you know what, I'm not gonna be picky about where I get a job or where I work. All I want is a foot in the door. All I want is a foot in the door, and I'll take whatever opportunity comes my way. So I sent out my applications. It wasn't even 3 months, you guys, and I got a response, and it was Japan. Japan was offering me a teaching job at it in Eikawa. It's called an Eikawa in Japan. It's like a training center, a type of vibe. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm not gonna doubt this. I'm gonna say yes. Let's do it. And I did. We went on with the application, and 3 months later, I was in Japan. 3 months later, I was in Japan, and I think for me, the reason why I left South Africa, or I needed to leave South Africa, was the fact that my thinking was becoming very limited. My thinking was small. I was emotionally stuck. I was financially stuck. I was spiritually stuck. And I wanted a bigger life for myself and my child. I don't want my daughter to hit the same ceiling that I hit in South Africa. I wanted to see that when you're stuck in life, you can choose, you can do hard things, you can do brave things to get yourself out of a situation. It got to a point where I wasn't even like connecting with people. Like it was difficult for me to make friends. It was because I just got depressed. Like literally, I just got depressed. Because I wasn't using my full potential. I was under functioning. I was over functioning in some areas, but I was mainly under functioning in terms of my career, in terms of the skills that I have, in terms of what I can do. And I think just the universe and God just would not allow me to. And the more I forced to stay, the more uncomfortable it became. I literally couldn't bear it anymore. I literally could not bear it anymore. And I had to make the difficult and hard choice of saying goodbye to my little girl, saying goodbye to my family, saying goodbye to my cousins, my friends, the little friends that I had. Because I was becoming more and more isolated in the home. I don't know. I was just like, I was isolated. Like it was almost like a spiritual isolation. Um, and sometimes it was physical because I remember I would go for weeks without seeing anyone, without going out, without socializing. I would just be at home, hermit mode. So, it was quite, it was a stifling feeling, and it became more and more uncomfortable as time went on. It was almost as if God was like saying, I'm going to make you so uncomfortable that you have no choice but to go. You have no choice but to take the opportunities that come to you. And you have no choice but to seek opportunities elsewhere. And I miss home. I miss my daughter. I miss my people. Um, but I love who I'm becoming in Japan. I love the woman I'm becoming in Japan. When I arrived in Japan, I was a mess. I was a mess. But that's another story for another video. I was a mess. I wanted to go back to South Africa. It was that bad. So yeah, guys, I really want to share that experience too, like what it was like for me arriving in Japan. But if any of you share a similar situation or had a similar experience to what I had back home, like if you're in South Africa and you're thinking about taking a huge life change, making a huge leap, taking a leap of faith, comment down below. Let me know what you're going through. Share your experiences and let me know how you are and where you are on your journey. Okay. Bye.